Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So, a few days ago, from the figure collection store, I did get in a new batch of action figures, and this was something that I was expecting for quite a while now, and I was actually a little bit disappointed because I actually thought one of the set of figures that were due in, I thought I ordered two sets of the figures for Series 3 of the Wrestle Something Wrestlers. I only got one batch of figures in. So, Wrestle Something Wrestlers Series 3, you had Crush as part of that wave, and there was two variants. There was a purple Crush, there was a red Crush, and I think the red Crush, there was a limited quantity, limited release. So I did get two sets of that figure. So I'm going to be able to open up that particular figure and be able to show you what that figure looks like loose. But as far as the other figures, I am not going to open up my MOCs. So when I actually do the review for those figures, I'm only going to show what they look like carded. So it's not going to be a 100% complete review. But today's review, this is going to be different. This is going to be an Epic Toys review video. And we are on Epic Toys Series 4. Now, this might be one of the most insane reviews because when Cella Toys switched over to Epic Toys, you guys already know, Cella Toys was already one of the best Hasbro style, retro style action figures out there, right? And Epic Toys has kept that tradition going strong. And what I love about these respective toy lines, when Mattel Creations, Epic Toys, even Big Rubber Guys, they kind of keep that sliding back card, which I love. So a lot of people, they want the originality of Gloop. They want the originality of LJN and Hasbro with the figures just super glued to the card. And, you know, I get that. I like that as well. But for a lot of people that love to be MOC collectors, it is so awesome to be able to just slide the card right off, take the figure off the card, display it loose. Guess what? You want to put that figure back on card, bring it back to 100% mint on card, you can do so. And that is awesome. Especially if you want to bring it back to MOC so that you can resell it. It's beautiful. And, you know, if companies like Zombie Sailors, if Grapplers and Gimmicks, if they did that, it would be so much better. But why don't they do that? Because they want you to buy multiple figures. And it's kind of a cash grab, and I hate that. But today, Series 4 Epic Toys. The graphics on these cards are freaking amazing. They are so good. I'm just looking at the back of these cards. I mean, when I pulled them out of the box, guys, I mean, obviously I took a quick look at them. But anytime I do reviews, I try not to pay too much attention to the figures because I always want my reaction to the cards, to the figures. I want them to be as genuine as possible, right? So I try to pay as little attention to the figures as I possibly can. So I'm looking at the back of the card and the graphics, and just look how insanely good that is. And yep, what I notice is with each new character, the main character on the card is the one that's going to be first and foremost at the forefront. So that's pretty awesome. So obviously this is a Ric Flair figure. So you're going to have, you know, Ric Flair right here at the forefront, which is pretty incredible. So over the years, you really never got yourself a really solid Ric Flair retro figure. His WWF Hasbro figure was atrocious. The head sculpt sucked, but you could have probably lived with it if they gave him something better than that stupid 1, 2, 3 kid Ric Flair, Rick Rude arm punching figure with a super thin body, which was just crap. His Gloop figure was adequate, nothing super flashy, but it was okay. With the Mattel Retro they did okay. It was a good figure. It was actually pretty fantastic actually, but I mean it left room for improvement. But I mean it was still a good figure nonetheless. But I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the sculpt, and I'm like, man, this is freaking spectacular. Let's take this baby off the card because I'm really eager to see what this baby looks like in hand. So, first and foremost, the robe. The robe is an absolute beauty. I'm kind of nervous. Oh, one of the things I was nervous about when I looked at his hands position, his hand position, I'm like, I really hope that's not stationary because that's gonna give me pause for concern. But look at that. These things actually open out. God, I love that. All right, let's open up the robe, shall we? Look how beautiful. Look at the detail. All right, so do I want to take off the entire robe? You know what? It's a review. Let's go full out with this baby. So the robe, it's not rubber. It's not plasticky, but it says Nature Boy in the back. It's got good graphics, good detail on the robe itself. So yeah, Hasbro had a really bad figure. Mattel Retros did a really solid figure. Zombie Sailors put out really two absolutely atrocious Ric Flair figures. Both blue trunks and a, what was it? Was it a, I think they're red. Yeah, it was a red bloody version. But the head sculpt on this Epic Toys is solid. And I love the fact that they put him in green trunks. Now, when you look at like original San Francisco toy makers, you know, they got Ric Flair in several different color schemes. They got him in blue, they got him in green, they got him in purple. So I love the fact that they kind of switch it up, the color scheme. Because Ric Flair, he's one of those cats that he's in multiple color schemes, right? Black, blue, purple. So green, so multiple color schemes. So it's nice to see him in different colors. Macho Man, multiple colors. Warrior, multiple colors. I talk about it all the time, right? Those are usually three guys that I always bring up because they're constantly changing colors. So this right here, this is the Hasbro figure that you should have had way back when. It is very reminiscent to your Series 1 Macho Man. Your Series 7 Shawn Michaels, Series 10 Shawn Michaels, your Series 5 Rick Martel, etc., right? So all those cats that came up with that particular fighting pose with the feet separated like so. The fact that the arms aren't just simple up and down like so, but that the way that the arms actually, you know, duck out in certain ways, and you kind of have to have it move out like so in order for the robe to be put on. That is huge. So you do good clotheslines and you get the arms in position for a good body slam pose and whatnot. Good positioning for posing as a playable wrestling action figure if you want it. And guess what? I'm just kind of noticing this right here. Very reminiscent, right? If you want to get him back in that Hasbro headbutt. Oh man, that is sick, man. That is so good. I was really concerned when I first saw it in package like so, but seeing that the arms actually, you know, duck out like so, I'm impressed. I'm honestly thinking that this might go down as one of the greatest Hasbro style figures ever, and I'm not even blowing smoke, guys. This is seriously that good. And hard, so not something that's going to be easily breakable. good detail throughout. So if Ric Flair is that good, I'm dying to get to Barbarian, okay? Barbarian is definitely going to be like my favorite of the bunch, just by aesthetics. And if Ric Flair is that good, my mind's going to be blown with the rest of them. Next up, we've got Barry Windham, another member of the NWA, or WCW 4 Horsemen. The one thing I don't like about this figure, removable hands. Mattel does that a lot. Jakks Pacific, did that. Anytime I see removable hands, I just kind of throw my hands up in the air and be like, no. Why? That drives me nuts. Epic Toys, I love this brand, but no, stop it. We do not need removable hands anything ever. Never, never, ever. So, is it going to be necessary to have an open hand as opposed to the closed fist? I mean, some people might love that. Me personally, it's much. It's an unrequired accessory. Give him a hat. Give him a weapon. Perfect. But what are you going to do with that? That's not a usable accessory, right? So, who's going to be sitting there swapping out hands? That's what I'm talking about. Look at the graphics for Barry Windham. So, I didn't read off the back of the card. Let me read off Ric Flair. It says, woo. I'm not going to say woo. Well, I just did it. But it was a fake woo. The real world's champion is here. The dirtiest player in the game, styled and profiled his way to 16 world titles. Learn and love it because it's the learn to love it because it's the best thing going today. 16. That's what I'm talking about. Why? I am so confused when it comes to Ric Flair because I'm always hearing different numbers. Is it 16 titles? Is it 20 titles? Is it 24 titles? I mean, are they considering AWA? Are they considering WCW, NWA, WWF? What about New Japan? Because he's got titles over there. Is that all thrown into the 16 titles? Because I'm always hearing, differing championship numbers. Because the number always expands up to 24 titles. So, I mean, 16 to me is like the small end, with 24 being the high end. And 20 is usually the median. But we'll go with 16 based on what the card says. For Barry Windham, it says, Barry cemented his legacy as one of the most decorated champions of the 80s. He clawed his way through the competition in all the major promotions, stalking his opponents as he went. And here is Barry. And I'm not going to touch that accessory. And the vest, I don't think I need to take off the vest, right? Yeah, I don't think I have to take off the vest. So the arms are nice and tight. And what I'm loving is the freaking, look at that. The wrists do not move. Unlike other companies where you move the wrist, they spin at 360, which I don't like. So nice and stiff wrist. I love that. And I'm so used to like getting like Big Boss Man and all these other, Undertaker, guys like with the right extended arm, you push them back, right? And they got the, the wind up. So I'm a Hasbro guy. So whenever I see the extended arm, that's what I go to, is I'm looking for that wind up that has that action feature. But outstanding face mold. Beautiful, right? And the boots, man. You get guys like Tully Blanchard and both. You get Tully Blanchard. Well, pretty much any of the Brainbusters. You get Tully, Arn Anderson. You get Dusty and Dustin Rhodes. You throw in Barry Windham. They got my favorite boots in the world. Absolutely love this. I hate the fact that when I lived in Texas, I didn't buy all these cowboy boots. I only got myself a couple of pair of boots, and I only bought those suckers like just before I left Texas to move to come to Kentucky. But I should have bought a bunch of those over the years. But that is an absolute beauty. I think Series 4, I mean, all of the series have really been just nailed it out of the ballpark. I was thinking maybe the Killer Bees were probably some of the best that they actually produced. I mean, pretty much any of the tag teams. British Bulldogs were just flawless. The Killer Bees were flawless. But I think these might be some of the best figures ever. I mean, incredible. Design, look, play pose, just... It's really hard to choose a favorite because they're all just done so extremely well, right? All right, next up on the card is Dr. Death, Steve Williams. He's got the Barbarian set up, so that is awesome. Steve Williams, one of the toughest men to ever lace up a pair of wrestling boots. Williams dominated North America and Japan for decades. A feared and violent man who would offer a brawl for all. That's a little bit of a tongue twister. So one of the things I really appreciated with Random Treasures when they did their LJN 2-ups, or not their 2-ups, their LJNs of Steve Williams. I always really loved the Dr. Death boots because they were like little waves on the boots, right? And I just thought they were really flawless. They were like my favorite part of the figure. So let's undo the strap. Yep, extremely strong arms, non-movable wrists. I don't know what it is, but it looks like his eyes are following me, man. Like he keeps staring, but it's creepy. You know when you like look at paintings and it feels like no matter where you move, the eyes are always fixated on you, and it's really creepy, right? I'm creeped out by this figure. Like he's doing the same damn thing to me like paintings do. If you guys get yourself a Dr. Death Steve Williams, pay attention to that. I can't be the only one that notices that. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this one. Steve Williams for you guys. Another perfect figure. I mean, look at that. Nice thick piece as well. This one's going to fit in beautifully. At some point, my glass display case is going to be jam-packed with epic toys, so Shoot, I might have to start. Yeah, yesterday yesterday I started moving all my customs off of these little side areas over here. When I moved all my Jakks Pacific Classic Superstars off of these shelves, and I decided to start displaying them up here. That way, when I started putting like the bigger, the bigger figures, like the 14-inch, 12-inch figures, etc., up there, they weren't blocked. So smaller figures like so, I could just set those in front of them, and they could be seen easily. So the last one, and this to me was the highlight piece. This is the one I was most excited about, and that is the Barbarian. And he's about to take Steve Williams' head off. Check that out. The Barbarian. Led by Bobby Heenan, the Barbarian found success by using his immense power and success. Oh, shoot, I already read that. The Barbarian found success by using his immense power and inflicting severe pain on his opponents. The most iconic look of the era, finally in retro form. That didn't say enough. I wanted more. But this is Barbarian. Oh, man, that is beauty. That is beautiful. This is why you gotta, this is why I love these slide backs, because if you don't get two carded figures right, and like I actually got two sets of these, but imagine you only got one set, and these were just regular glued bubbles to the card. You wouldn't be able to see these graphics because I'm an MOC first collector, right? And if I don't have a second collection to open, I'm not opening these packages. And you would never be able to see graphics like this. Look at this. That is flawless. That is beautiful artwork. When I say Epic Toys went above and beyond, the waist moves a little bit, but I mean, you got to really put some pressure on it. I mean, it is relatively strong. Wrists don't move. Head doesn't move. So the only thing out here that, waist moves a little bit, but like I said, you got to, put some pressure on it. Head sculpt though, insanely good. Now we got to attach the accessory. Hopefully I can get it nice and tight so it stays permanently. I mean, it fits. Only issue I'm finding is that it'll sit on the head, but like it'll fall off, I think. Nope. It's actually holding pretty firm. Check that out. I was concerned it would actually fall off, but it's actually pretty nice and tight. Cool. And that's what I like, because like I said, when you get accessories that, they just, sit on the head and, smallest gust of wind and they go flying halfway across the room, to me, that makes it an unserviceable accessory. It makes it a worthless accessory. But you get a hat, you put on the person's head, and you turn it upside down, and it stays. That's perfect. Or you get like a nightstick for Big Boss Man or something like that. You put it in their hands and you shake it all about. Or you get like Honky Tonk Man's guitar, you put it in the hand and you start waving it all about, and it stays in his hand. That is a perfect accessory because it doesn't go anywhere. And look at that. They got little straps for the arms. So this robe is, and it's beautiful. Oh my God, that is so soft. It's like petting a kitten. That is flawless. Now this has got to be, yeah, this is definitely one of my all-time favorite figures. I mean, they're all one of my favorites. I mean, I'm probably going to sit, every time I pick up a new figure, I'm probably going to say that, but the overall look, the accessories, perfection. Now, when I start picking up Hasbro figures and I put them side by side to this line, do I still say that any of the Hasbro figures match up to any of these? That is the difficult, and that's something difficult to answer, because at least with Hasbro, I have that nostalgia. I have those memories, right? And, you know, Hasbro, they're still cartoony to an extent, right? Where these are modern, these are more realistic. They actually look like real life people because of that technology. But it is what it is. I mean, you really can't compare the two. You know, different eras, you know, different decades. They're just perfect figures. Barbarian, Dr. Death Steve Williams, Barry Windham, Ric Flair. If you guys haven't gotten your order in yet and you placed one, hopefully you guys get yours soon. Trust me, you guys will be overly ecstatic about these figures. When I say perfect, by no stretch of the imagination am I exaggerating. Wow. Absolutely flawless figures. I am so pleased with this pickup, guys. So, tomorrow, one of my viewers, he recommended me going through my collection and pulling out every Andre the Giant figure that I have and kind of showing off, you know, those collections. So that's probably gonna be Tuesday's video. And Wednesday, I'm probably gonna pull the Wrestle Something Wrestler figures that I did get in from the company. I'll only do one loose figure display, and the rest of them I'm just going to show the carded figures. So that should be a relatively quick video, maybe 10-15 minutes. Thursday and Friday will probably most likely be a video game playthrough video. And of course Saturday will just be the regular live show. So that's what to expect this coming week. As always, guys, you know, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will talk to you guys in the comments and see you all in the next video. Take care, everybody.